The Supreme Court has a decision on Roe v. Wade. See how the Bay Area is responding.
San Jose Police Department officer Dejon Packer was found unresponsive on March 13th. A new piece of evidence has revealed a new cause of death.
And who will be San Jose's next mayor? The candidates square off on campus. Those stories and more just ahead.
From the School of Journalism and Mass Communications at San Jose State University, your source for what's happening with a fresh perspective on today's issues. You're watching Update News.
Welcome to Update News. I'm Jonathan Schaefer.
And I'm Nico Parsizadeh. The U.S. Supreme Court seems poised to overturn Roe v. Wade. That's the landmark abortion rights case that's been the law of the land for nearly 50 years. And the proposed move is promoting protests around the country and right here in the Bay Area. Reporter Grace Pang begins our team coverage.
Hundreds of abortion rights protesters took to the streets of San Francisco. This after the leaked draft opinion showed the conservative majority on the U.S. Supreme Court would likely vote to strike down Roe v. Wade. That's the landmark abortion case that established federal abortion rights. Justice Samuel Alito wrote that Roe v. Wade was, quote, egregiously wrong from the start and must be overruled. San Jose State professor Donna Crane, who worked on Capitol Hill for 2 decades, calls it a political bombshell and says here's what it could mean.
That would mean that a bunch of new restrictions on abortion rights are likely to come rolling down, and in many states, abortion will probably be outlawed altogether. If there is no national protection, no national guarantee of reproductive freedom, then Congress can pass restrictions too. Those are binding nationwide. So California can have as many protections as it wants built in for women's reproductive rights. We can amend our constitution, we can pass new state laws, we can provide more funding for women's health clinics, we can do all of those things. But what we can't do is we can't exempt ourselves from federal laws.
The final opinion is not expected until June. Until then, protests over abortion rights will likely continue. This is Grace Pang for Update News.
That likely move has been all the buzz around the country and here on San Jose State campus. Reporter Sandow has been getting reaction.
There was little indecision on this one. Most of the students we talked to had very strong opinions on this proposed move.
I think it's really unconstitutional, and I think as a woman, I'm really scared, and I thought never in my lifetime that I would ever see this happening, but I think that the Supreme Court coming out with this opinion is, they're not really thinking of, I want to say women, but then you could also say that there are some women that are pro-life.
It should not be overturned. I think it protects a very sacred right to many people who have a uterus and who have the ability to bear children.
I think reversing Roe v. Wade is a step backwards, but as a media major, I just think this is like something that's going to be extremely publicized over the media, and I think it's just going to like tear apart a society.
I think it's very imperative to continue to be upheld and codify Roe, because reproductive rights are so important, and if we continue to attack those that aren't able to have access to those, I think it's highly unfair.
I agree with the right to choose, so that's pretty much all I know about it.
I think that women should have the right to choose whatever they want to do with their bodies, whether it be however they got pregnant. If they don't want to have a baby, as long as you know the baby's not too developed, it should be their choice.
Abortion rights activists say that they're planning a series of protests around the Bay Area for this coming weekend. Live in San Jose, Sandow, Update News.
The news that a former San Jose State football star turned police officer was found dead was shocking enough. Now it's his cause of death that's causing more shockwaves. The Santa Clara County coroner says 24-year-old Dejon Packer died of an accidental drug overdose. Reporter Savannah Ceballos has the reaction of what changes are coming to the San Jose Police Department.
Former San Jose State star football player and San Jose police officer Dejon Packer was found dead in March in his Milpitas home. At the time, his sudden passing shocked everyone, including his San Jose football family.
For him, it was like, sure, I love football, but like it's the brotherhood and the people around me that matter.
Now those who knew him are reeling again, and so is the San Jose Police Department. The Santa Clara County coroner just released his cause of death, saying the 24-year-old rookie died of an accidental fentanyl toxicity. At a news conference, San Jose Mayor Sam Liccardo said, in light of Packer's death, the police department will implement some changes. It will include more treatment for officers' mental health needs, but also stricter protocols.
That we will include requirement for random drug and alcohol testing for all of our officers.
San Jose Police Chief Anthony Mata said there is also another officer being investigated for being under the influence on the job.
I cannot and will not let the actions of a few officers tear down what we have built. I will make sure our officers' wellness and mental health is a top priority.
The chief said substance abuse prevention training will be implemented soon for all officers, on top of the resources already provided. In San Jose, Savannah Ceballos for Update News.
Fentanyl, the drug the coroner says killed Dejon Packer, is behind the spike in the deaths of young people ages 18 to 25. In Santa Clara County, experts say only a little bit of the drug can be deadly. Pills are sometimes laced with fentanyl. Jan Bloom is the father of one of those teens who died from fentanyl poisoning. Mr. Bloom is now part of a county group trying to make changes. Mr. Bloom, we are sorry for your loss. What can you tell us about your son and what happened to him?
Thank you, and thank you for having me here. My son, Linus Blom, was tragically taken away. He passed away on July 22nd, 2020. The cause was poisoning. So he took a pill that he thought was something else. The pill was actually laced with fentanyl, and we found him. And at the point of finding him at our home, it was actually too late. So they tried to resuscitate him, but tragically it was too late. Linus was a great athlete, beautiful human being who was always at the center of any given network. He was really charismatic, super talented as a wrestler. And we'd in fact moved him to another high school where we thought he would actually be sort of getting great training. But he ended up developing a substance abuse issue, and the time that he was going through those issues was a really bad time to be, experiencing mental health issues, given the way, fentanyl has become much more prevalent in today's society.
What's the takeaway message you hope students learn from your family's tragedy?
I think the message is, first of all, just to be aware. If you're a person of any age that's actually either even just trying out a new drug, for the first time, or if you're using and then you've developed a substance abuse issue, I think the thing to be aware of is just that it's super dangerous these days. It's a business proposition for the cartels and for the illegal, drug manufacturing industry. Fentanyl gets added to not just to pills, but to cocaine. I've heard cannabis as well, because it's actually a very potent drug and makes you very addicted, and it also produces a really strong high. And so if you're using drugs at this day and age, it's going to be a very dangerous. It's going to be a gamble.
Is there more that the county can do to help stop the flow of these drugs?
There is a lot that we can do. So just first of all, raising awareness, and so if you're a caregiver, and even just like across all of the age groups, so just concentrated efforts around how we can actually raise awareness so that the general public becomes aware, and further to that point, so just knowing that you're independent of your social background, independent of your age, or sort of social status, or where do you live, etc. So you're going to be at risk in this day and age, and so just being able to kind of work in a concentrated fashion across mental health professionals, across the public health sector, police, educational institutes, etc. and different types of grassroots level organizations. So to have, the county focusing their efforts in a kind of a concentrated fashion is super important, just to raise the awareness, basically.
Thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Bloom, and our condolences to you and your family.
Thank you for having me here.
A bit of sad news for the San Jose community. Former Mayor Norm Mineta has died at the age of 90. Mineta was San Jose mayor in the early 70s. He went on to serve 21 years in the House of Representatives. He's credited with helping to pass hundreds of bills, many of them having to do with transportation improvements. Mineta has tapped to be a cabinet secretary for transportation under President Bill Clinton and George W. Bush. Secretary Mineta founded San Jose State Mineta Transportation Institute.
San Jose's next mayor could serve up to 10 years, 2 more than the 8 years allowed with term limits. That's because of the new measure that could change the city's mayoral election cycle. Reporter Christian Trujano takes us to a mayoral forum on San Jose State campus this week, where some of the candidates shared their ideas and goals.
This mayoral forum on the San Jose State campus was a chance for the 4 candidates considered frontrunners to prove they've got the right stuff to be the next mayor. 3 city council members and a county supervisor fielded questions from moderator Damian Trujillo of NBC Bay Area. The candidates tackled some of the city's most pressing issues like housing costs, transportation, and the economy.
To restore San Jose, as mayor, I will focus on 3 priorities: rebuilding our public safety, protecting our single-family homes, and tackling our growing homelessness problem.
All 4 agreed with each other for the most part on topics like supporting small businesses, developing affordable housing, and maintaining equity in a growing city.
Working together, we can address homelessness and affordable housing, make San Jose the safest big city again, and just clean it up, make it shine again.
The stakes are higher this year because of Measure B. If passed, it would move mayoral contests from midterm election years to presidential election years. This would mean that the newly elected mayor could possibly serve for up to 10 years.
One of the things I've seen in my year and a half on the city council is a city full of good, hardworking, well-intended people, but systemically a government that is not focused enough, not as data-driven as it should be.
And I think that what I've been able to do over my time on the council is to be able to build that coalition of support, to show that I can be a bridge builder, to be able to be effective, to actually get things done.
3 other candidates also qualified for the June 7th primary. They are former San Jose Police Sergeant Jim Spence, San Jose State student Marshall Woodmansey, and Travis Nicholas Hill, who claims to be a student. To read more about the candidates, go to www.sanjoseca.gov and look up under the City Clerk 2022 Elections tab. In San Jose, I'm Christian Trujano for Update News.
Everyone, when we come back,
learn more about how May Day workers marched and honored those who died during the pandemic.
And people come together to raise money for the people in war-torn Ukraine. We'll be right back.
At San Jose State, we really do learn by doing. This is my first semester working on our award-winning newspaper, the Spartan Daily. But my whole time here really has been about real-world skill building. Professors like Diane Gurazi continue their work in journalism while bringing that knowledge back to us in the classroom each semester. Then we're on the Spartan Daily, Update News, or the Spear. We get to put all that into practice. We even get to work with cutting-edge tools like our new VR lab, where we get to learn new ways of real storytelling using 3D virtual reality.
Our students have many opportunities to work in newsrooms that function like the ones they will encounter in their professional careers. Here in Update News, for instance, we produce a weekly show that is aired on local access television in San Jose, and we produce video news that is digital first. Students will get experience as producers, anchors, and field reporters.
The Spartan Daily, our award-winning student newspaper, has not missed a scheduled publication date in more than 80 years and remains one of the longest-standing papers of its kind in the Western United States. Through classroom instruction and our newsroom labs, we give our students the tools to succeed and create their own bright futures. Learn by doing. If you're interested in joining our program, visit our website for more information.
Downtown San Jose drew big crowds this past weekend. It was both May Day rally and hundreds celebrating Viva Calle sharing the streets. Despite the crowds, the workers' rights activists made their voices heard. May Day is an annual worldwide event that celebrates and honors workers. The Party for Socialism and Liberation organized this rally in San Jose, laying out the movement's priorities.
To fund the people and not the wars, to stop UPS pay cuts, to end union busting, for citizenship for all, and for Viva May Day!
International Workers' Day.
The program began with speakers sharing their stories of harsh working environments for immigrant workers, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic.
And essential workers, the workers feeding America, the workers
So it's really a celebration of our immigrant community and our working class people in San Jose who make the city run.
The workers began making their way to City Hall, but the streets were unusually crowded. There were two large events taking place, the same time, same place. Besides the May Day celebration, bicyclists took to the streets. The only issue was that Viva Calle was scheduled on the same day and the same street, which is Santa Clara Street just behind me, and that left some committee members very unhappy.
The fact that Viva Calle doesn't know is just shameful. That's like saying that Veterans Day, Columbus Day, any other holiday that is on a very specific day, that they don't know about it.
Despite a bit of a traffic jam on Santa Clara Street, the workers made it to City Hall and paid tribute to some of the workers who lost their lives in the past 2 years.
We need to recognize, one, that a lot of people's lives were sacrificed during the COVID-19 pandemic, and it's important that we respect that.
Despite COVID-19 trending downwards, many essential workers are still threatened by the virus with their working conditions.
A San Jose blues man put together a concert to support a foundation that is helping Ukrainians survive the Russian invasion. This comes after the musician cut short his tour in Russia to return to the U.S. Reporter Jesus Telitude was there to capture both the music and the story.
J.C. Smith is a blues player born and raised in San Jose. Over the last decade, he gained fame in Russia, doing more than 200 shows and 10 tours. But Smith cut his last tour short in February after Russia invaded Ukraine. He said it was a difficult decision to leave so abruptly, fearing he might never be able to return.
When I got home from Russia, I was just like, kind of devastated about all the stuff that I actually really could see on CNN and everything from my house. And so, I just kind of wanted to do something.
Smith said he came back to the U.S. with a heavy heart and wanted to find a way to help the people of Ukraine. He decided to put together a concert called Yellow and Blues at Tabor Theater located in San Pedro Square. All the proceeds went to Doctors Without Borders, an international humanitarian organization.
I saw something on television about what Doctors Without Borders are doing, patching people up and what have you. And my wife Jeanette said that's a great organization. If you're going to do anything, you should do something to raise money for them.
Other musicians that played at Smith's fundraiser include Legally Blue, Rom Yamalov, Robert Berry, and Jackie Gage. I spoke with Gage. She said she was happy to perform for this cause, following her own departure from Russia, cutting her tour short, like Smith.
I'm so honored to be a part of this, and I think that this is a terrific idea. I mean, JC's brought together some of the best blues artists in this area for this moment. No one's taking money from this. It's all going to Doctors Without Borders. So I'm so proud to be a part of this, not just relief, but musical resurgence in a way that we can give back to the people that we care about.
In San Jose, Jesus Telitude, Update News.
And now we have Cameron Langfield with the weather.
Good afternoon, this is Cameron Landfield with your Update News forecast. Let's get right into your weather. Big story this week is going to be heat. Going to be heating up pretty high, probably even get into the 80s here in San Jose. Into the weekend, we're going to move on into a pattern that should bring us some gusty winds, possibly some cooling, and maybe even another rain chance, mostly for the North Bay. Take a look here at the Futurecast. You can see low clouds rolling on through here. You get that rain chance here for Eureka Friday afternoon, the whole coast Saturday there. Saturday evening, get our rain chance here in Eureka again, and into Sunday evening, we get the entire Sierras. Into the 7-day forecast here for Santa Cruz. From 71 on Thursday down to 61 here on Sunday, then heating back up for the rest of the week. In for Oakland, you can see those gusty winds coming through with that system that should be pushing through. They go from 68 down to 66, and it looks like they start to recover down to 79 there. San Francisco, same winds visible. Looks a bit cloudier there Thursday, Friday, 62, kind of cold. Looks like mid-60s for the rest of the week, though. And for San Jose, up to 77 Thursday. There's our big warming, down to 69. Monday here, we're up to 74, and even 85 there on Wednesday. It's going to be hot. But there is still a potential chance for a rain shower, so don't put your umbrella away. This has been the Department of Climate Science and Meteorology San Jose State forecast. I'm meteorologist Cameron Landfield. Let's get back to the desk.
When we come back.
It's almost the end of the road for this semester at San Jose State University. What are students' plans after graduation? You may be surprised. We'll be right back.
It's that time of the year that seniors look forward to. Graduation is just around the corner.
It's always exciting to start a new chapter. So what plans do this year's graduates have? I put that question to some of them in this week's State of the Spartans.
I'm taking a 6-month break from school. I know I have to get my teaching credentials, but I want to start working on my own art portfolio before I start doing my own credential program. So yeah, that's my 6-month plan.
I don't really have set plans after graduation, but I do know what direction I want to go to. So during June and July and August, I'll be traveling in the summer to Mexico, Europe, and some states in California and USA. But after traveling, I want to find a secure job in event marketing.
My summer plans are, I think I just figured it out. Honestly, just want to take a break from school, work, and everything. I've just been feeling very burnt out. I have an internship, school, and family business and stuff. So I think I really want to prioritize on myself and see if I can travel. I'm going to the East Coast for a bit.
So after graduation, I will have a lot of free time. So my plan is to travel and heal mentally, spiritually, physically. Physically is most important because it's summer. And yeah, that's about it.
San Jose State's graduation ceremonies will be held at the Provident Credit Union Event Center from May 25th to the 27th. And that does it for this semester's edition of Update News.
For all of us here, thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next semester.